Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
All right, welcome everyone to episode 142 of the world's strongest podcast, the Massenomics podcast. Your two favorite hosts are here again today, Tommy and Tanner.
What's up?
Tommy made it back from the South Pacific.
Ooh, just barely.
Have you ever seen the South Pacific on Netflix or?
No, I haven't.
Oh, good.
Is it a war thing or?
No. Well, yeah, actually, that is. No, I think it's just called South Pacific. It's like Planet Earth, only of just the South Pacific Islands.
Yeah.
Oh, how about Planet Earth?
Oh, Planet Earth is great.
I love Planet Earth.
Planet Earth 1 and 2. What was the one? Wasn't there one called like Humanity or something, where it focused more on like people? And
That's
tribes?
like the last episode. I
Or
thought
was that
of,
what it was?
Of like the second.
They have another series though too, don't they?
There might be.
I thought it was the same people. Oh,
because I thought like the last episode of the second
you
season
are
was
right.
like urban, or something like that.
Okay, we got to get to the bottom of this here.
And while he's looking at that, South Pacific is also it's in the same vein, but it just it's actually staggering, like the size of area that the South Pacific Ocean covers.
Yeah, just the ocean in general.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this is what I was saying. So, yep, Planet Earth 2, Blue Planet, Frozen Planet. Those were the other two, yeah.
Okay.
More water and ice-based ones. But
Okay.
I don't care for those ones as much. They're not, to me, it's just way more exciting, like seeing forests and jungles and all that stuff, you know?
Do you know the narrator of Planet Earth?
Well, the BBC ones, because they're different. They have a different narrator depending on. I know. Life was the one I was thinking of too. I think in Oprah is the narrator for that.
Oh, okay.
That's one of them too. But so I know. Yeah, the original version. I don't know how you say his last name, but David Attenborough.
Okay.
Like he does like the original like British version.
Yeah.
And then Sigourney Weaver does one, and I want to say Mike Rowe did one of them too.
Okay, I'm thinking of the British guy that has done that. Then I'm pretty sure. Good narrator though.
Oh yeah, those are amazing shows to watch. So as far as like, I still don't like. I got done watching it, and I kind of like geek out on like cameras and like the cinematography aspect of it a little bit. And there's things I just don't understand how they do, and I try to watch the behind the scenes, and it still doesn't make any freaking sense to me, like how they do some of these things.
Right, and that's like the time in between the first and the second coming out
it was
so
such a
long
huge...
because of all like how enormous the project is of filming, getting all that filmed.
Yeah, well, and then on top of that, like you can see from Planet Earth 1 to Planet Earth 2, like how much technology changed in like 10-ish years.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's a whole other level of stuff that they're doing on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good stuff.
So is that what Hawaii was like?
That was just what it was like. Just watch the Rainforest episode of Planet Earth. You don't need to go. Save yourself some money. But no, it was really awesome. I'd never been that way at all. The farthest west I'd been is just somewhere in California, you know? And I'd never been like out there. And when you get there, we went to the Big Island, Hawaii. When you get there, the big shock is like how much the weather changes there. Like from getting off the plane in Kona, it's like volcano, black rocks, like dead kind of looking. I mean, it looks really cool, but it's not. There's not like greenery around, and it kind of has more of like a desert vibe almost. And you just start to cut through the middle of the island, and all of a sudden it goes from sunny and 80 degrees to like a half hour later it's like 50 some degrees and pouring rain because you're up higher in elevation. And then you come down the other side and it's still raining, but now you're back up to 70 some degrees. And the area we stayed in is like a rainforest, so you would have perfect sunny weather, and then for 5 minutes you would get an absolute downpour, and then it'd be perfectly sunny again. So it really was one of those things like if you don't like the weather, like just wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like people like to make that joke in South Dakota, but it's so different there. The way it can go from like a gloomy, overcast day to completely sunny to pouring rain to nice to gloomy. Like
usually in South Dakota, if you don't like the weather and you wait 5 minutes, you still don't like the weather. Like,
you kind of know what you got at this point. Like people are like playing that one up a little too much. But yeah, it was a really, really cool trip. Do the whole Airbnb thing. You get to kind of live maybe like more of a local than if you're staying in like a big resort somewhere where you just kind of are chilling on the beach the whole time. So
did you wear any Hawaiian shirts while you're there?
I didn't wear any Hawaiian shirts. I saw lots of old white guys wearing Hawaiian shirts though.
What about like Tommy Bahama shirts like that?
Tommy Bahama, some Maui Jim sunglasses, the whole kit.
What is the guy from damn it. He was on he was the Wild Thing. He was the pitcher.
Oh, yeah. Was that Charlie Sheen?
Yeah, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
What is those shirts that he always wears? It's like a guy.
I can't think of
Do you know what I'm talking about?
So long since I've seen that movie. What's that? What is that movie called again?
I think it's Major League, but
yes.
No, but not what he wears in Major League, just what he wears in like life.
Bowling shirts.
Yeah, like bowling.
That's
I can picture middle-aged men in Hawaii walking around in those.
See, I didn't even have to finish. I typed bowling shirt chart and Google just knew the rest. Charlie Sheen. Yeah. It's such a weird shirt.
Any of those then? Did you?
I didn't see many of them. I probably did run across one or two.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing many with the stripes that go all the way down like that.
Yeah.
But there was probably one.
Did you ever wear a lei?
I didn't. But the weird thing is, Walmart
the locals probably thought you looked pretty stupid then walking around without a lei.
I think they did. Like I definitely looked like an outsider because I didn't have my lei and hula skirt on, and I was made fun of for it. But things that surprised me though were we got groceries before we went to our place, and in the parking lot, some people were crossing the parking lot, and we stopped for them. And in the Midwest, and I feel like most places people do this one, like.
Yeah.
Just kind of put the hand up and give the head nod, like, yep, I see you, thanks.
Yeah.
But there, I just got and I don't even know what you call
nice.
that. Is it the shaka or whatever people, whatever. Nice. I don't know what the hell people call it, but the hang loose. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that guy just threw it out at me. I'm like, that was weird. And two kids come behind him, do the same thing. And I was like, what? Like, is that a real thing? Like, I had to be like, my wife's like, yes, they do that. I'm like, well, you don't know that. You just saw it happen. And, like, if you'd get stopped for, like, if there's construction on the road and the people holding the sign, it turns to go slow. And instead of waving, they just give you one of those and you go by. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. People are pretty chill here. But, that was a shock. I don't know if it was just sheer coincidence, but none of the gas pumps there have the lock where you fill gas. None of them had that. Huh. So the first place I thought, oh, this is just a shitty gas station. It doesn't have one. And then we went to another one and another one. Not a single one had it.
Was gas expensive there? Do you remember?
The most expensive one place we got kind of outside of any city type area, and it was about $4 a gallon. Yeah. Otherwise, it was right around like $3.60, $3.65. Which
so more expensive than what we pay, but not like it's.
I mean, it wasn't
you
like,
didn't care.
It wasn't insane, And it was other than that, like stuff is more expensive.
What about just generally, like when you went to Walmart or
something?
Like
it was more expensive, but it wasn't like, oh, how do you afford this? Like it was never, oh, bacon's $30 a packet. No, I mean, with anything, you can buy the brand that's kind of the same price anywhere. Right. So the thing that I noticed is because we did go to Walmart is, I don't know if it's just the time we went, but just tons of stuff was out of stock. And I don't know if it's like a thing of like getting it there or just it's Walmart and no one cares. So they're just doing a shitty job ordering, which are all possible things.
Yeah.
But Hawaii.
Yeah. So what was the one coolest thing that you saw?
So actually, and I don't think I've even got to tell you about this yet, is right down the street from our Airbnb was a black sand beach, which black sand really cool. Most people are used to like white sand beaches or kind of like a brownish golden color. Mm-hmm. Black sand beaches due to the volcanic activity, and it looks like straight up like potting soil that you're walking into. Yeah. But it's just like sand. It doesn't stick to you and make mud like dirt. It is literally sand that's black. So that was really cool. But the beach is a clothing optional beach.
Oh.
And
which option did you opt
for? Well,
here,
let me just let me take you on a little ride here. So clothing optional beach. in your mind, what's the ratio at a clothing optional? What should the ratio be at a clothing optional beach? Of guys to girls, age to youth. I mean, not under 18, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, age-wise, like, what do you expect? Like, because I didn't know what to
What
expect.
do I hope for?
Well,
or what would I?
I don't know I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be a lot of women? Is it going
Yeah.
to be a lot of guys? Is it going to be younger people, older people?
And also, what
didn't-
I would wonder is how many people do have their clothes off.
Yeah, and
versus
also
not.
also that is there a lot of people at a clothing optional beach that go clothing optional?
Right.
All questions I had, all questions that were answered for me very quickly. So we got there, and this was like the first, like we got there pretty late at night. So the first night we got there, we just long flight. We got the Airbnb, just chilled. Woke up the next day, like, hey, let's go check this place out. And the beach is awesome. Like the beach is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But you're there, and when we got there, it was a little earlier in the day. I think it was like 10:30, 11 in the morning, so somewhat early. And there was like 2 people on the beach, and it was cold, so people had sweatshirts on. So I'm like, okay, maybe people don't really go clothing optional here.
Yeah.
And then because the weather changes so fast, it's like half hour goes by, and I mean, many people over the age of 50 start showing up, and it's like, oh, like these people are definitely my parents' age,
Yeah.
maybe older even, and it's like, hey Bob, hey, like just like, hey neighbor. And while they're talking, they just start stripping down. I'm like, oh, this is what we get. Old fat white guys getting naked. And the one that really surprised me right away is there was probably like 4 guys and this guy that showed up, I'm assuming with his wife or his friend. And they all are naked right away. And, you just assume none of them are. Their bodies are not the people you would ever expect to be naked.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, more power to you, but not what you would usually expect.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in great shape. I'm running around
Yeah.
naked. The thing that I really enjoyed, there was 2 things, is they were ready to go for a swim. So like anyone else, they put their swim shirt on to go into the ocean, but refused the bottoms. So we have our goggles on and our swim shirt.
And nothing on the bottom.
Let's skip the pants on this one. And they went for their swim, and I was like, hey, man, that's cool. And then there was another guy, and my wife was like, are you catching this? Like, he was, there was like a dead tree, and he was like jumping up to get the branch to hang from it, and just completely naked. The motion of the whole thing was funny, and then he was trying to swing his leg up onto the branch, and it took several tries. So
I don't think I'd want to be doing that naked.
And that's my whole point was I'm telling him, like, I wouldn't really want to do that with my clothes on.
Yeah.
Just a swimsuit, like rubbing up on wood, let alone naked. Like, that's all I could think the whole time.
Yeah.
And so, and then like 2 guys come out, and they have like, it's almost like tennis rackets, and they're hitting a ball in front of us. And
Do you think people are purposely doing things?
oh,
to
some
let
of it
their,
is for
like-
sure.
Yeah.
Because we went, and so like it was, if people want to be naked, I don't care.
Yeah.
They're obviously having fun. Good for them. That's awesome. We went again one other day when it was a lot nicer, and there was way more people there. And people just want to be naked and run around and do their thing, which I'm sure it's freeing. Like for me though, I'm like, I guess I don't really get much. Maybe it's because I didn't do it, but I don't see the appeal in running around naked in front of a bunch of old guys. Like, if you want to do that, you could just go to your local YMCA, right?
Just go to the steam room.
Yeah. So that was probably the biggest eye opener, culture shock. Something I didn't know what to expect.
That would be.
So I can say that I've done it though, gone to a nude
So
beach.
you didn't see anyone wearing Massenomics shirts on the nude beach
I
or anything?
didn't, and I did. Anytime I'm traveling, I keep my eyes out for Massenomics stuff,
Yeah.
and I didn't see any Massenomics
Huh.
stuff.
Waste of a trip.
I also didn't really see anybody that even thought looked like they've ever lifted in their life before. So
Yeah.
I don't think there's much of a gym vibe for the most part in Hawaii. I think most people are there like just chilling, hanging out, laying low.
Not trying to go to the gym.
Not trying to go to the gym, sweat it
that
up.
makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, if you want an awesome itinerary, I can get you some hot spots to check out.
Know where to go.
Keep you busy, yeah.
Yeah.
And I made it back in one piece, so
That's a win.
that is
No
always
flight,
a win.
no big flight delays.
No
or
flight
anything?
delays. Yeah, that's always can be really iffy this time of year with weather and stuff.
Yeah.
But we got really lucky with that one.
Yeah. Other big news too. I would say our number one most fan that hated us the most. Oh, wait, I guess he wasn't a fan. I don't know how you'd classify him. Like the person that
maybe someone just hated what we were doing. Maybe our biggest hater.
Yeah, our biggest hater. Yes, there you go. That's okay. I couldn't think of a good. That makes sense. That's a good.
The simple words.
Yes.
Sometimes.
He was our biggest hater. He was the man that was originally quoted saying, "Nah, I'm good with the plain ones."
Mm-hmm.
Or you charge $14. Slap your
The biggest critic of the lift shorts.
Yeah. The original critic of the lift shorts and their price is now an honest to God fan of Massenomics.
He's converted.
Yes, he even commented here recently and said, "I really support everything you guys are doing. Like you guys are really good for the sport of powerlifting, and I appreciate all your stuff."
You know what they say? Can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Yeah, and that's I don't know his name. It's like OG_03 or something like that on Instagram. So shout out to that guy.
Yeah.
I did let him know though that like that's great and everything that he likes us now, but that's not going to help us sell any more pairs of lift shorts.
Not, yeah. I mean, we almost need like a before and after testimonial.
Yeah,
from him.
like what he's doing now does not fit into our marketing strategy that's been working. It's like he can't come in now and be like, you know what? I'm not good with the plain ones. I'll take those logoed ones for $14 more.
Yeah, whole marketing campaigns were born because of this guy. And, I mean, something came of it, you know.
Yeah, that's what you got to come home to.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I also did read something a comment on YouTube I really enjoyed, and that was in regards to someone comparing us to LaCroix.
Oh, just don't spoil that yet.
Okay. I'll save that. I'll save that one then.
That's
saw
coming
that,
up on it.
And I really liked that.
That's a teaser for one of our end segments of the
because if there's one thing I like, it's a compliment that's slightly backhanded.
Those are always the best. The best comments and especially reviews on Apple Podcasts are always the ones that kind of like cut at us a little bit.
Yeah.
And then also say
can't
something
quite
positive.
be like, hey, yeah, these guys really are doing. No, it's like gotta have like a
And those are the funniest.
Yeah.
And if you can't laugh at those, we do that to other people. We make a Instagram.
That's the world I want to live in, where everyone's dishing out compliments, but you're still not quite sure if they're sincere or not, or they're kind of like getting a little jab in there too. But that's the world we should all live in. It kind of keeps everyone on their toes.
Yeah, that one you're gonna get at is is on the docket here. So
good. I like it.
So do we want to talk about what the World's Strongest Man did, or?
Well, maybe we should, because we've been talking about that for a while.
Yeah.
Our guesstimations, estimations.
Where we got to find out where we were right and where we were wrong.
I mean, we're always right, so.
Right.
So we probably don't even need to talk about it.
That's
then.
true.
But we will,
right.
just in case you missed us before.
So Thor did complete his not first powerlifting meet, but first powerlifting meet in about 7 years, and squat. I guess we just start at the beginning. His squat. What did he hit on his second attempt? He successfully squatted
968,
Yeah,
and
which-
he missed his first attempt. He got called on depth.
On depth on his first. 968 successful on his second. I think all white lights.
Yep.
Which is 440 kilos. On his third, he tried 460 kilos, and what was that in pounds? 1,012.
1,012. Yep.
And that would be probably the most controversial lift of the day, I would think. What did you think of the 1,012 squat?
I think a lot of people kind of had the same sentiment, was that there's a lot of world records out there right now that are inches higher than that squat.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he buried it, because he didn't bury it by any means, but I think a lot of people were like, oh, it's Thor's home meet. He's going to get off easy on this whole thing. And I really felt like he maybe had some of the stricter judging that I've seen outside of a USPA meet.
Yeah. I think Boris Shakow was the head judge.
He was giving him red lights from the front.
From
which
the front
I
on
think that
depth,
was like,
and I don't think aren't you not supposed to
I
give red
didn't
lights?
think so, yeah. But what do I know?
Yeah.
I guess. That was to me the big surprise. Was kind of the squat depth calls, because the way people were making it seem like, oh, he was, as long as he put the bar on his back, they were going to give him white lights.
Yeah.
What a lot of people were making it come off.
It definitely wasn't like that.
And
I
that
don't
was
think
not
anyone
the case.
could be critical in that direction of the judging.
No. Like, I really do feel like a lot of the meets I see where people posting PRs, world records, they don't squat to this depth. It seems like.
And he walked it out of
walked it out.
And
that
was a pretty smooth walkout.
Yeah.
And
it
he blew it up.
It was really, really, really fast.
Yeah, that was.
It was for sure probably the fastest 1,000-pound squat I've ever seen in competition.
Yeah,
I'm having trouble thinking of something off the top of my head that was faster.
Maybe there are out there, but I mean, it
there
was
might
up
be,
there
but
with
I don't
them.
know if there were ones that had been walked out too on top of that.
Right.
So, yeah, that one was a bit of a surprise.
And I'd say our predictions on his squat were pretty much right on.
Yeah, were we guessing like 975, 980-ish?
Yeah, and then but we said we thought his 30 would maybe be around that 1,000-pound mark if things were going well, and I don't know. It looked like he could have sunk it just a smidge more and still got the lift too. It's kind of a shame
that's what it seems like. At that point, he couldn't have been off of depth by more than like an inch or so.
Right.
And it's like, oh, is that 1 inch really going to is that you really can't get there, or were you afraid you weren't going to come back from it? But the way he moved it, it's just hard to believe that it wasn't there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, with that, he moved into bench, and I'm wondering if I don't think that squat had any bearing on how his day planned out here, because it was white lights across the board. Third attempt was 550. I think it was actually 551 maybe with the way kilos break down. But
I think that's right.
551 PR. It looked good.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't easy, but it also wasn't like an absolute grinder either.
That was good.
I think that was an all-time PR, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because his best ever bench, he said before that, was like that 530 whatever that he did in training.
Yeah, so I think
that was a little better than what I thought. I think you pretty much said right on. I think your guess was about 550 on bench, and I was thinking he'd do more like 530.
Yeah, and I think to show up on meet day and have a 20-pound PR on bench and to not look like you died while you did it, I think that's good coaching right there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay. Now we're going, and we all were kind of right there on it, 530-ish to maybe 540 on bench. I mean, he did actually beat our expectations a little bit, but we're kind of in the ballpark of what we were expecting so far.
And his subtotal there, by the time he had finished those two, even with missing that third squat, he still was in the running to be able to potentially put up a world record total. I think it was still under 1,000 pounds that he was going to have to deadlift in order to hit the new world record.
Yep.
So it was still possible, especially based on what he had said his deadlift opener was going to be, prior to the meet.
And what did he say his opener was going to be? 903?
Yeah, what he did for his second attempt, he had said that was going to be his opener, but I suppose after squatting 1,012 and benching
just
550,
the day was catching up to him.
Yeah.
And so, what did he – I think his first attempt was like 880, right around there.
Yeah, that's yep, I think you're right.
Easy.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Jumps to 903. Again, looked pretty easy.
Pretty good, yeah.
And now with that, he becomes the first man to do a 900-pound deadlift and squat in the same meet. Is that what you were saying, or what was the –
No, if you would have had to squat 1,000 and deadlift 900.
Oh, he'd be the first one to do that?
Yeah, but
okay.
Well, not.
He did it. He just didn't get the lights for it.
Right, but that still goes to show just how hard that is.
Yep.
Because there's a reason that nobody's ever done. I mean, granted, he basically
he
did do it.
He just didn't get
but it still hasn't been done officially yet.
Yeah, he's probably the first person to do it this way though, where he squats 1,000, doesn't get it to count, and then actually does deadlift 900. There can't be many people that have done that.
No, probably not.
But yeah, so he deadlifts 903, no problem. Jumps to 946. Fairly big jump, but I suppose with the way things were going.
I'm pretty sure that total, had he hit that at that point, it would have tied him.
It would have put him around 24.
It would have tied him for the second best all time total. I'm pretty sure that's what it would have. I'm pretty sure that's why they went that. It would have tied the second biggest total of all time. I remember. Don't necessarily quote me on that, but I remember looking at it at the time, and I think that's where it would have put him.
Either way, it's in that very top 3-ish range.
Right. Because, and I think that's why, that was my guess as
that
to
would
why
make
he
sense.
picked that, is because he's like, well, I can't, I'm too far out from getting to Andre's number at this point. But so he had it halfway up.
It went past his knees, and it was actually moving really good. It didn't slow down. It just turned into a grip thing.
Yeah,
which is kind of surprising. Even the world's strongest man has grip issues on deadlift.
And you could see he looked at his hands.
Yeah, and you could tell he was disappointed. I had basically done all the work at this point.
Right.
these things let me down.
And the thing is, obviously, Thor has a very strong grip. You know, that's a part of strongman. That's a part of all the events he does, farmers carries, all that. You know, he does 1,000-pound frames and 800-pound farmers carries and all that. But it's still gripping a deadlift bar for a deadlift is still a little bit different grip than those things. And to Thor's hands,
it's got to be like holding a pencil.
Bar, yeah, exactly.
It's got to like sit in his hand such an awkward way.
Yeah, so it doesn't surprise me that he would struggle with that. You know,
gotta switch to hook grip.
I guess
it seems like that's the thing. Everyone has to switch to hook grip if you're going over 900.
Yeah,
right. Like that's what it's coming down to.
Well, that by the looks of it, he missed that deadlift because of his grip. I mean, it's probably a number of. Had he say he was even stronger and that weight was relatively even easier for him, maybe the grip wouldn't have been an issue because he would have moved through it faster, and you know, it wouldn't have been a grip thing. So maybe it is strength and other reasons, but at the appearance, at least, it looks like the grip probably.
I'm just saying, I haven't seen Kaylor Willem or Yuri Belkin drop one over 900.
I don't think I ever have seen him. Have you?
I can't think of a time off the top of my head.
No.
So it's got to be a scientific fact then.
Yep.
You and Ryan were playing around with some hook grip at the gym.
Did. I think I said a hook grip PR probably.
Did you? What'd you get with it?
545.
545.
Yeah. 5.
Just because usually it hurts too much to keep going.
And Ryan did 600 with it the other day.
Yeah.
So I'd say if he can do 600, he could, you know.
610's probably the limit.
No, but I think just relatively, like whatever he can deadlift, he should be able to hook grip at that point.
It seems like at this point, like that's not a limiting factor for him.
No.
But, I remember like trying it with 400, and I was like, okay, I can't wait to switch back to mixed grip here.
Yeah. And I can't do anything more than singles with it. Like I could never do reps with it. I don't know how people do that or why. It's sadistic.
They just decide they don't need thumbs anymore.
I did also, we messed around with it a little bit on a deadlift bar versus IPF 29 millimeter bar, or Rogue Ohio power bar,
versus
or
a 29 millimeter versus a 27.
Yeah, I think that's what the deadlift bar is. Texas power bar is even a little bit smaller than their 28 and a half. So even the Texas power bar feels a little bit better than like the Rogue power bar. But that hook grip, I can notice a big difference. It sucks a lot
Just
worse
that
with the
2
bigger
millimeters actually does.
Yeah, it sucks way worse.
That's the one thing that's surprising too. If you do use, for a few weeks, maybe even a couple months, if you use the deadlift bar and get used to just that little bit narrower bar diameter, and you switch to an actual full size stiff bar, it is noticeable. The feeling, not so much the whip, but the feeling in your hand is very noticeable.
Yeah, I'm on 7 weeks of just always using an actual power bar on deadlift, and it is like you can try to lie to yourself and tell yourself that it's not it's no different. I could like do the same on that, and it is different.
It is. It doesn't make sense how 2 millimeters feels that different in the hand.
Yeah, it definitely does. That's what she said.
It is what she said. So, will Thor do another one?
He said 2019 looks like he might come back to it sometime. Had he hit last deadlift and had he hit that squat, that would have, I'm pretty sure, tied
the all-time
world record.
Here, I got the old calculator machine right here. Let's do it.
Had he been successful on all those thirds, I'm pretty sure that would have tied Andre.
25:08. That would have put him at.
That looks a little bit short then.
Just because was he like 25:15 or something like that?
Yeah.
It just shows like how insane that is.
Yeah.
But also, he is that's probably about the lowest bench to be in the area that he's in, right?
Yeah. I
guess Eric Lillybridge is maybe around that 550 area, isn't he?
Yeah, I think as long, if he can improve a little bit more and he puts, say, 25 more pounds on that bench, then he's not, I don't think it's a legging lift compared to most of those other guys at that point.
And even when you look at Thor's deadlift, how it's progressed over the years, assuming the grip thing is there, like the deadlift's only going to keep going up for him.
Well, this meet was on him specifically training for powerlifting for a couple months.
Yeah.
If he really,
made a run at it.
I think I probably, over the last couple of years when we've done predictions on things, and I probably have a habit of undershooting what I think Thor will do, and he kind of has a habit of
surprising
doing more, So I guess at this point I'd be surprised if he doesn't does another powerlifting meet, I'd be surprised if he doesn't break 2,500 or break the world record then, because I just think he's does whatever the hell he wants to anymore. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bet against him on anything. I don't think.
No, it'd be stupid too.
Yeah. Especially if in 2019 he comes back and does it and puts more time into focusing on it. But I don't really know why he would, other than just if he just wants the world record.
Yeah. I mean, that would be it. Because it's
reason.
safe to say he's stronger than everyone else. He's stronger than you.
Yeah. Right.
Like, yeah, you maybe have one lift on him that you're maybe better at, but in all respects of strength, he's stronger than you.
Yeah.
Like, for all practical applications of any of this.
I think this put him at about 9th or 10th, maybe like 10th all-time total, somewhere in there, give or take a couple places. Mm-hmm. So in his first powerlifting meet in 7 years, he's in the top.
And he's got to be like one of the only guys in that group to do strongman and powerlifting.
Yeah, I bet he's the only one. Yeah. I bet he's the only
it's like
one.
not even his sport, and he can show up. And
What would really be fun next year is to see him compete at like big dogs.
Yeah, that
big
would
dogs
be,
would be the one
Yep.
that would be awesome to see him compete at.
Yeah, that. Or I mean, if you want to do like the U.S. Open, that's not going to happen with the way the schedule is.
Right,
But
that would be awesome too.
Yep. Yeah, either one of those would be really cool.
Yeah. So hopefully 2019 big dogs, but at this point there's got to be something in it for him to do it. He's
Which big dogs there? I mean, there
Yeah,
would
right.
technically be something. Probably
Yeah.
it probably doesn't really make much of a difference for him. What's it, $10,000 or whatever it is there? 20, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's 20 for the winner or something like that, but
Like,
that's a paid.
It's a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
I got to think for him that's not really a make or break thing. He's probably making more than that sitting at home doing nothing.
Right, and most of it, at the Arnold he makes 60 or 70. I think in Dubai he made probably about that much too. I don't know what they get paid out at World's Strongest Man, but that's just the title anyways. I don't, that's probably the least one of a money deal because it's like this Super Bowl, but
Yeah, it's got sponsors and stuff behind it
Yeah,
though, so it's
yeah.
hard to say, but
so that's what Thor did.
I hope we see more.
He did it to him.
He did do it to him.
Yeah, he had to do it to him.
Can't deny that. Okay, should we focus on something more negative for a little
Yeah,
bit?
we've been
We have been way too positive.
I want to go.
Or do we have a stat of the week or not?
No stat of the week this week.
Then we won't even worry about that.
No, we'll come back to that next week. We're
Okay.
saving up such a good stat that it's going to be 2 weeks in the
It's a
making.
lot
here.
of stat.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. Yeah, we have been too positive. I want to go old school lift shorts commenter guy, not new school lift shorts commenter guy.
Not converts here.
Yeah. We had a post this week, one of our Massenomics versus posts. Maybe you've heard of it.
I mean, let's be honest. You've heard of it.
It was Layne Norton versus Norton Antivirus.
Classic matchup.
Yeah. First, Tommy, from a tech perspective, what's your opinion on Norton Antivirus?
I use a Mac, so I don't have to worry about viruses.
Yeah.
So I really can't.
What do you know about it though? Like anything?
It was like always on PCs. It seemed like when I remember being a kid, there was always like some Norton, McAfee?
Yeah.
Like just pop-ups on my machine all the time, and didn't really know why it was there, how it got there, what it was doing, if anything. Just kind of annoying in general. That's, I guess, how I would sum it up.
Whenever we do these Massenomics versus, I almost always have to do a little bit of I can't make up 4 things about Norton Antivirus off the top of my head because I don't know anything about
You
Norton
haven't been in talk with the sales rep lately?
Right. So I always have to do a little research. And for a while there, Norton Antivirus had a lot of problems, and I think people hated it. And I think they've turned it around a little bit now, though, where it's maybe like a decent product again. But for a while, I think it was probably pretty terrible based on what I
That doesn't surprise
researched.
me.
Yeah. So we did this comparison, and we weren't super negative to Layne Norton or anything.
It was just like anyone we do. We get a few little fun ones in there.
Yeah, well,
we're not a total asshole about it.
No, that's the thing. Like I always think there's got to be a couple that are like a complimentary to the.
It's
to
not
the
a straight up roast here.
No, but but it's one or two of them have to be a little bit of a.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, it looks like you're just trying to like.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like.
And those are the ones that make it funny when you kind of mess with the person a little bit. Like, and we do that for every.
Yeah, you don't want to look so desperate that you got to build slow. They're my hero. They're amazing. Like,
right.
No, you don't got to do that whole thing.
No, and we try not to. And I think for the most part, most of these people we've ever done them for, they laugh, they chuckle about it. I think there's been a few people that have been offended by it, but even like 8 Man Strong, we did one about them where we kind of roasted them a little bit, I think, and they loved it. You know, they thought it was funny, and you know, had a couple funny comments to add to it.
Well, you should be able to laugh at yourself. Like
right.
If you take this fitness stuff like that seriously, like you got issues.
Yes, exactly. But so what came of this was the comments on our post about Layne Norton were.
It ended up being like 110 comments or something like that.
Yeah.
Like just some stupid number.
And like
and this wasn't a post asking for comments. No. Like it wasn't asking for any comments.
And just how negative they were. I mean, I knew there was a thing about Layne Norton that a lot of people like. I think he responds in the comments quite a bit, and maybe that gets people fired up.
I think that does get people, like, most people just whatever, don't even respond. But yeah, the fact that he acknowledges it, like, gives these people this feeling of like acknowledgement where they got to keep firing away on him.
Yeah, but would you have guessed there was going to be so many?
No, and I guess what blows my mind is, the thing is, some people, I don't think it's many, but some people really hate Layne Norton. Like, and I don't think that's an understatement at all. Like, some people really hate Layne Norton.
Yeah.
And the recurring thing seems to be people seem to hate his like views on flexible dieting, which he's not like trying to sell you Herbalife shakes or Thrive. He's not trying to sell you some multi-level marketing thing. He's not really giving, I guess I don't follow him super close, but I don't think he's really giving bad advice.
It doesn't seem like it to me, but I'm the same way. I don't follow him close enough to really know.
Like, I don't think if the average person followed his, like, I don't think that the vertical diet is like has leaps and bounds of knowledge on his thing here.
No.
And I mean, the way I understand it, flexible dieting is kind of like you have your macros, you kind of have an allowance for each macro, and you stick to that, and that's how you can manipulate your weight. And that makes sense.
Yeah, and from what I hear him say, I think he like tries to support anything he says by. I mean, this is his thing, is science, but
he is,
like
he is knowledgeable.
Yeah,
like he has experience, like he's done a lot of stuff, but people seem to hate his views on dieting. They hate the fact that there's no way he can be natural.
Yeah,
absolutely no way he's natural.
I don't know, and I don't know what the deal on that is.
So
like,
I used to think like,
why is it not believe? What about him looks not natural?
And that's
really?
what I used to think. He was really jacked until he walked by us at the Arnold, and I'm like, oh, Layne Norton's not 6'1".
Yeah, who's that small guy?
He's like, is he 5'9", maybe? Like, he's not a huge dude. So when I saw him, like, oh, it makes sense that he's shredded. He's kind of a shorter person.
Do you remember we broke bread with him in the same restaurant and this year? He was there. He was when we I don't know how to describe the place because it's just the same as every place that we go out and eat at, but it's like kind of like it was like a brewery.
Oh, what was it, the one where you ate all the pizza this year?
The pizza.
Oh, no. It was that one, the Ram.
Upstairs
the Ram.
yeah,
it was the Ram, I think.
Yeah,
upstairs.
It was where
I did forget he was there when we were walking out.
Yeah, he was in there eating too.
If only he knew what he was going to be in for 9 months later.
Yeah.
But people hate, what was it? Oh, the fact that there's no way he's natural when, I mean, the numbers, I think he was an IPF world champion, wasn't he?
Second,
okay.
Silver medalist.
He was a USAPL national
champion. I
but
think
even
maybe twice.
His numbers from then to now, like, people are smoking those numbers and claiming to be natural. So that already the claim, like, in his physique isn't that absolutely insane. So I don't think it's a stretch at all to think he's natural. I'm not saying he is or he isn't, but I think there's people I would say are way more suspect than him.
If I had to just guess based on mine, I'd be like, I believe him. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
If I'm gonna not believe someone, it's not gonna be there's Russell or Russell or whatever. I'm like, that's the dude I'm picking out. That's
like
not natural.
that guy has a physique.
Yeah,
right there.
right.
Like, yeah, if you want to be suspicious, that's someone who I'd be suspicious of.
Right.
And I'm not even worried about that. Like, I don't even waste my time thinking about that. But if someone wanted to be like, oh, he is, I could be like, well, I could understand how you could think that way. I'm
Right.
not saying he is, but
Right.
so that's one thing. And then people love to hate on his personal life.
That's
with
the part where I'm
relationships.
like, why are people like so
And
into
I
his
want to be like,
personal
well,
life?
isn't don't 50% of marriages end in divorce? Like, I want to think that. I mean, I know for a fact there's power lifters out there that are some kind of like made some bad life choices and some kind of shitty
Yeah.
people. I think
Right.
outside of lifting.
Yeah,
And
and we talked about that before.
Yeah,
You know,
people
there's
have no
things-
problem worshiping these people, and it's like, well, these people are kind of. Some of them might be kind of scumbags,
Yeah.
but because they can squat a lot, like you, or bench a lot, or
Yeah.
deadlift a lot, or
And
whatever
we're not
they
saying
do.
that all of them are.
No,
anything,
no,
but
no, and
like,
I'm not.
there's some probably
But it's like
out
it's
there.
like anything in life. Like there's people that are kind of scumbags, but because they're good at something, people like worship them, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing. Again, I haven't spent a lot of my life stalking him, like some of these people apparently do, but I just have such a hard time believing that he is like the thing that's wrong with the world and
Right,
lifting.
with like, yeah.
That like these people want to paint him to be, and you can go look at the meme, and there is probably 80 comments of these couple people arguing
Yeah.
back and forth about how he is the problem with the world.
Yeah. I don't get the personal life thing where it's like, okay, well, you don't know this. Like, I'm assuming none of these people actually know him.
Or have talked to him,
Right,
Or would
right.
probably even say any of these things.
And I'm
to
not
his
even
face
saying
either.
he's not, like, doesn't, like, maybe he did do bad things in his personal life, but what my point is, we don't know that, and I assume
I just
none of
thought
these
people didn't
do.
get this fired up unless it was like about Donald Trump. Like that was like I thought people only got to this
Right.
level of excitement about
Right.
Donald Trump, but no.
Yeah, 'cause it's like
apparently
passionate
former USAPL lifters really get people going too.
And I do think a big part of it is because he responds to like
Yeah,
all these
he
comments.
He is,
and
I have to
he
feel
did
like,
on one of them. He said like, "Your mom," like
yes,
he had like a your
and
mom.
you could just tell like the whoever was
Yeah.
on the other side of it that their head was like, "Ah!" like about to explode from this
Yeah.
whole thing. So
I was personally impressed because I was curious. Whenever we put these out, and if it's someone we don't know as well, like we have, like if we post one about quads like Rob, we know he's gonna be cool with it. Like
Yeah.
we've talked to him before, and we've talked back and forth several times and met him, and we know that he understands our thing and he's gonna laugh at it.
Mm-hmm.
But like Layne Norton, we don't know him, and we don't know if he's gonna be like, oh,
Yeah,
this is funny, or if like or if
we've never like talked about him ever or mentioned
Right.
him in anything. So as
Right.
far as we know, it's just gonna go like, oh, really dumb. Move on to the next thing here.
Right. And I was curious if he was gonna maybe like get a snarky comment back at us or something. But I guess I was impressed by the fact how he was like laughing and
Yeah, he
and-
was pretty receptive.
yeah,
to it.
and there was a couple. I think in the the comment was. New drinking game, take a shot every time that Layne Norton says PhD.
He references
that's
his PhD.
Yeah, which that's a joke at his expense, obviously, like making fun of him that he says PhD all the
Mm-hmm.
time. And he kind of took it and ran with it, I thought. And that's,
Yeah, he did great, which is
Yeah.
what you have to do with
Yeah,
that thing.
right.
So I have a hard time believing that he's really that poor of a sport that people
Right.
want to make him out to be about all this stuff.
Right. Some people really hate Layne Norton.
It's just like a YouTube comment section going through there. It's
That's-
just like, oh, where do these people come from?
That's-
Like I think people were like even like challenging him to like, look how good I'm going to do. It's like, well, also like I don't think he's really like trying to like really make a run at being
Yeah.
number one in the world. Maybe he is, but I don't think he's trying to make a run at being number one in the world. Like he's kind of done his thing, and
Right.
I think he's pretty happy with his professional career and all of that. Like his whole identity isn't
Yeah.
tied to his squat or whatever he has
No.
in the meet. You know,
And maybe some of the people commenting just enjoy, like maybe they're not even mad. They just are like having
just
fun.
throwing fuel on the fire.
just like, yeah, this is kill. Waste some time this Monday at work, like
I
getting
really
Layne Norton
liked.
to yell at me.
Was it frustrated strength athlete?
Yeah,
I mean, it was like looking at the
Yeah.
comments section.
Yeah, as a kid sitting in the
Yeah, with the
movie theater.
with the garbage bag of popcorn in a 2-liter, like
Yeah.
just going to town, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what it was.
That was what it was like. So some people really hate Layne Norton.
I guess you learn something
Yeah.
every day.
Will that be the title of the?
Seems pretty appropriate. Yeah. Maybe he'll share that too. Another thing that popped up that also kind of ties into crazy Instagram comments is old Kaler Woolham, Dr. Deadlift.
Professor Bench Press.
That's his alter ego. He had a post on Instagram and it was all text. And the text said, things I want for all powerlifting meets. Number 1, no more deadlift bar. We'll go in depth on these, but I'll read through them right away. Number 1, no more deadlift bar. Number 2, only 2-hour weigh-ins. Number 3, only sleeves for raw competitions. Number 4, I'd honestly be all right with no sumo, LOL. Number 5, instant replay verification via official judges cam for record attempts. So how do you feel about these, Tanner?
I could get behind like the entire list.
I mean, I'm fine with all of them.
Yeah, I think like to me, just generally speaking, if all those things were true, it would work to some people's disadvantage, but I think overall,
it would work to a lot of people's disadvantage.
Yeah, I think overall for the sport being more universally accepted and maybe growing larger and being more unified, definitely if you're talking about being more unified, it would be beneficial.
Yeah, I completely agree. And going through, first one, no more deadlift bar. So a lot of these things in this are just related to people manipulating factors to be able to lift more weight. I mean, that's all it is.
Right.
And I think
But if nobody gets to use a deadlift bar, then it's all the same. Like
no, exactly, yeah. And that's so. This is again where, and I don't know that this is probably such a hard thing to look up. And I'd love to see like what is the history of like deadlift bars? What's the history of going from 2-hour weigh-ins to like 24-hour weigh-ins? And
I think someone correct us on this if it's not right, but I think the Oki deadlift bar was the first.
And
the
like
original
how, I mean,
deadlift
like
bar.
80s are we talking?
I don't know.
I don't know what the time frame is on these things because at some point someone didn't just say, "Oh, this deadlift bar it's fair for everyone. It's just a different bar." Like someone had to have engineered it with the idea in mind that like
we'll make this
this thing does change things a little bit,
yeah.
and it might help
we'll
out
make
some
it a little
people.
longer, a little thinner, easier to grab. We'll bend a little bit more.
Same thing with the weigh-ins. Like, 2-hour weigh-ins, you can't show up depleted and expect to have a good day.
Yeah.
Let's have a 24-hour weigh-in, or is 48-hour weigh-in a thing?
That might be in some federations.
But let's have a 24-hour weigh-in. I mean, all that's doing is like, let's make an arbitrary time before a meet where you can weigh a certain amount for literally minutes if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And then you can do whatever you want to put that back on. It's like, that's the most artificial like metric there is.
Yeah. I've never done any weight cutting and I don't like the idea of it. So that's really easy. That'd probably be the biggest one on the list that I'm like, yes, 2-hour weigh-ins. That's an excellent idea.
Well, and then the next one, only sleeves for raw competitions. Sure. I mean, really, what he's almost describing is he wants IPF style meets. Is what he's describing.
Well,
here,
actually,
really.
the first 3, that's what they. Except for one important bullet that's not. On that list.
So okay, he says only sleeves for raw competitions. Sure. I don't have a problem with knee sleeves, like because it's no one's. I feel like it gets distinguished enough that no one that's interested in the sport gets confused on that.
It's the same way though that like I think for the sport to be bigger and better, it would be really nice if raw just meant one thing universally. And I don't think that will ever happen.
No, I don't think so.
It won't. But like I do think it, and even if it was wraps, like I'm looking at the side that I like sleeves better. So yeah, I'd like it to be sleeves. But even if it was just wraps and that was what everyone did, and like sleeves just were not a thing that people use for competitions.
Yeah.
Like I could get behind that if that's just what everyone. Yeah. If that's what it was, and that's what everyone did, I think it would be cooler if it was all the same. But I would definitely like it to be sleeves.
Yeah, I like sleeves.
Yeah.
Number 4. This I think is the one that got the most people going.
Yeah.
Was he said I'd honestly be all right with no sumo. LOL. And he's obviously joking a little bit here because he has like an all-time world record at sumo. But he is probably one of the only people that I've seen carry over their conventional as well as good as he does for his sumo. Like I think there's a lot of like you cannot go on Instagram now and not see deadlift PR videos of ridiculous sumo stances. Like and there's no way to like actually quantify this, but it seems like for every crazy sumo deadlift PR you see, for every 10 of those, there's one conventional. Yeah. Like it's not, especially if you're under 200 pounds, like you're a lifter under 200 pounds. I almost assume you pull sumo.
Right.
Because that's just what everyone does.
Yeah, it is, especially at those lighter weight classes.
And like women, almost across the board just pull sumo.
Yep. He put that LOL at the end of it, and I know it's kind of a joke, but I also believe that there is some.
Well, because I think he could. I think if he doesn't already, I think he could pull 900.
Yeah, and I think
he's capable of it.
Well, and he says it all the time that his training is like 90% conventional deadlifting, and he just does sumo right prior to the meet to get used to doing it. I think he kind of would. He said that's like something you say. You send someone a text and it.
Like feeling cute might delete.
Yeah. Like you say LOL at the end to like protect yourself in case.
Right, guys?
Yeah, because you kind of mean it, but you want the other person to think it's a joke just in case they don't agree with you.
Yeah, I think now more than ever, you could start to actually collect some data on like sumo and the statistics behind how many world records are out there with sumo, like of the top 5 in any given year at a weight, how many of those were pulled. Like you could find that information now. It would take a little bit of work, but now more than ever, you would be able to get answers for those. And I'd be really curious to know like what those numbers are.
Yeah.
If like IPF meets are always easier to find just because, the record keeping seems to be a bit better. But with open powerlifting, you could probably go back, find some people's, the top names, and just start looking around and see like how many.
Right.
Because it seems like it's just so much sumo now, and it's in the rules. You can do it. Why not? Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
care. Number 5, he says instant replay verification via official judges cam for record attempts. This kind of, I believe, does exist in IPF. Like you can petition to the judges or the jury, whatever it is, to look, and they can overturn lifts.
Yeah.
So that does. I don't know if that's just at the world level that exists, or what the actual rules behind that are, or how that goes.
The problem with that is powerlifting, all these little meets, like there's no money, like people don't have that equipment.
There's some meets you go to, it's a miracle if they have an actual projector.
Right,
you know? So like, that's never going to happen at certain meets.
Right, but I guess if you're talking just for world record attempts, maybe they could just have it at the bigger meets, but I think it's most places aren't going to have that available.
No. But I could see that there's no reason that wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
At like a U.S. Open and, big dogs, things like that. But I think the flip side of it is people could really see in the replay like, oh, that lift was good.
Right.
Like I think powerlifting would make itself look stupid because you would see lifts getting past that in slow motion and be like, whoa.
Yeah, right.
Like that's what we're letting go, huh?
Yeah.
And you would it would fall apart on itself.
Right.
Like it absolutely would. Because whatever your definition of it is, it would just so that would probably be bad for powerlifting.
Probably.
But this got me thinking. So his things he's complaining about, a lot of people would defend these things saying like, well, that's what makes the sport exciting, that's what makes it different.
Yeah.
Okay. Why doesn't someone come around with even a whippier deadlift bar? If it makes it exciting, why don't we get a crazier deadlift bar where like the Rogue Elephant bar base? Like, why don't we just start getting something like that? Like, why don't we do 72-hour weigh-ins?
Yeah.
Let guys
use straps.
Let guys cut 50 pounds and then have 3 days to put it on. And why don't we let people like just go nuts with wraps? And like that one guy, he got all that slack or all that crap for having like his leg wrapped from.
I can't remember his name. Someone sent a nice message to us, DM'd us that trains out of that same gym as that guy, and said that I can't remember the exact relationship if they have the same coach or they train out of the same gym, and they said those were standard 3 meter knee wraps.
So either he's
and I don't know the details, but
so
he
could be really short. He could also have just had him wrapped really weird too. You would be able to wrap him that way. You wouldn't probably get much out of him. So if that's the case, maybe he's even stronger than.
Right.
Maybe if you had him wrapped like more on the knee, he'd be even better. I don't know. But like, what's stopping someone from coming around and having a federation that's even crazier than this?
Right.
And like, how do you even have criticism of that then? Because things just keep going this way.
Yeah.
Though,
Why can't the deadlift bar be 6 inches longer and another millimeter thinner?
Yeah. Why not? Like people were kind of, I think, getting at the fact that the WRPF meets seem a little suspect in how they were doing it.
Right.
People seem to have no problem watching
those.
those.
They're using the wider plates.
The wider plates, push that weight out there. So I feel like that's the issue with powerlifting, though, is that it's so just anyone can start a federation and do it.
Yeah.
Like there's no real official head that
Right.
it's its own worst enemy.
Yeah.
It makes itself look good and it makes itself look bad.
JP Price, I saw he had made a comment. I can't remember where I saw it, but I thought it was great. Is what he would be ideal to him, which he even himself knew that this is probably not ever going to happen. But if there was just essentially 2 powerlifting federations, the tested, fed, and the untested.
See, that would be because that is the problem. It's so fragmented.
Yeah.
Like, what other professional organization or sporting organization is so fragmented that at the higher level, like, people pick and choose, because people still do that. They pick and choose for the most part which meets they want to go set records in because they're friendlier
for their rules and
for,
what they
for
like
the
to
way
do.
for their lifting style. It's not consistent. And like Dan Green had a lot of comments in there. I don't know if you saw any of them, but he was like, because he was basically against all of this, because I mean it kind of goes against a lot of stuff that he does.
Deadlift bar, sumo,
like 2 hour, like he doesn't do any of this stuff.
Right, right.
This goes against like everything. And his argument was that, well, in the name of like standardizing it, like there's not standardized baseball fields. Baseball fields are different sizes, but I don't know if I completely buy that one. And I think his whole thing was like, let people pick the federation where they feel like they can showcase their strength the best and show off the way they want to the best. And I don't know. I mean, he had valid points.
Yeah.
It just, that's not the same viewpoint that I have.
Yeah, I agree.
And
but it probably won't ever get there because people can never agree on the like.
I don't think so, because
can it be a monolift or does it have to be
I mean
squat stands?
that already is going. That already
divide
like there's
everyone
people
immediately.
there's people that will not do one or the other.
Right.
And I mean, there's strongly held beliefs on that. Like, same thing with the deadlift bar. There's strongly held beliefs on whether a deadlift bar should be there or not. Like benching, even IPF versus other meets. To me, the IPF bench is so much tougher than the like with when you see
Head
guys like
down,
Blaine
heels
Sumner
down.
having to keep their head down, heels down. You don't see any of the other like bench experts keeping their head down and their heels down the entire time, like that. Like I don't. That's probably, to me, like, people like to rag on like squats for being, IPF judging so tough and it's inconsistent and all this, but at that higher level, those bigger guys, it just I don't know how like some of those bigger guys bench at an IPF level,
right? Especially on those benches too.
Mm-hmm. So did we solve anything there, Tanner?
Yeah, we solved most problems. I think we have resolutions to everything in place that everyone should be pretty satisfied with.
And I think with this whole statement, people are always going to side with the things that are more advantageous to them. We haven't done enough to really have much perspective on.
Well, that's why.
I guess you've done a 24-hour weigh-in, you've done knee wraps, you've done those things. You've trained with a deadlift bar almost exclusively.
And I've done both so I like a deadlift bar better, but I would be cool with no more deadlift bar. I think that's a good idea because it makes everything more universal, and that's what I like better rather than the things I personally like. I like the idea of it being universal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to compare people. Like if the name of the game is testing strength,
right?
That's the thing that I always get the most confused with. If the name of the game is testing strength, why do we come up with all these different ways to manipulate the system so that we can lift more? Like, it's almost like giving yourself a little bit of a handicap,
Yeah, right.
And
like in golf, if you
it's like in golf,
I'm going to use the white, whatever the blue tee box or whatever the closer one.
Yeah, it's like you're using the women's tee box, or you're using an illegal driver that's too big. It hits the ball farther, and it's fun to watch, but like it kind of goes against the spirit of like having skill to hit it farther. Right. I'm not saying you don't need skill, but the equipment is aiding you in some way. And I just realized, like, the more you talk about this, it's such a huge debate, and people are always gonna have their minds made up, and probably never change them.
No, that's true. But it's fun. Kaler can do it because a lot of those things are the opposite of what
he's in that position of being the best.
Because if he says, no more deadlift bar, you can't really argue with him too much because you're like, oh, wait, you're like the best deadlifter in the world, and you use a deadlift bar, and you're saying get rid of the deadlift bar.
Yeah.
So that's.
I really do want to know, like, the history of the deadlift bar. Like, when did that come about?
Yeah.
That would be kind of interesting to know.
That would be.
Maybe at some point, like, I mean,
maybe we're just the people to.
We could be if only there was someone that had a way to. If only there was someone that had a social media presence to ask around a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, we'll never know.
I guess that one will die here.
We're getting down there on time a little bit, so
we got a couple things in the we have one big lift, I think.
Oh, we do.
Our big lift segment.
Yeah. we have Amanda Lawrence here, and she's turning into the female Larry Wheels at her PR rate.
Yes.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
Can't wrap my head around it. But she had a 600-pound deadlift and a 570-pound squat. I think she also had she squatted like 505 or 5 plates for like 5 or something like.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense. Like I don't get. Yeah, if she'd been at this for like 10 years and just slowly chipping away PRs, but these PRs are coming in like almost weekly for her.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens.
Like she's and what
Like
is
they're
she?
straight up newbie gains.
Is she like 175-pound female?
I think right around. It's whatever that one that Danielle Mello does.
Yeah,
Daniela Mello.
I don't know what the weight is, but she's going to be deadlifting and squatting 600 pounds, both.
Yeah, at well under 200 pounds body weight.
Yeah.
It's just like there's a good chance if you're listening to this, she's stronger than you.
Yeah. Yes.
Like more than likely, she is stronger than
Yes.
you. And I don't know, at the rate she's going, it seems like she's jumping. Like her total it's going to go up like 10 or 20% every year. Every month.
Maybe she would change her Instagram handle to female Larry Wheels.
That would be really cool.
Larry Wheels not in big lifts, but was doing all those pyramid lifts where he adds all the plates.
Those are fun to watch.
Yeah.
When you watching that, were you thinking like, oh, Bradley Martin has a very nice set of cast iron black plates? Like, did you see like they were all, like most gyms,
Yeah.
the metal plates, it's kind of like ours.
Yeah,
it's kind of
it's
a mix of,
yeah.
you have like your cast ones,
Yeah.
and you're just, is it the milled one?
Yeah,
What's
the York milled plates.
The
yeah.
milled ones are the nicer, right?
Yeah, the milled ones,
So like you have
yeah.
the milled ones, the cast ones. Some are
Yeah.
black, some are kind of gray, some have
Yeah.
just different hues to them. He had it was like all matching, like it looked like the nice milled ones, like
Yeah.
all laid out there. And
Yeah, and the deadlift he did at Barbell Brigade, and they use those deeper dish plates, which I don't like those quite as well, but
yeah,
Larry,
each their own.
Yeah, I guess.
When
so.
you're Larry, you do what you want.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
But yeah, we do have that. I have that on my phone. It's not listed in.
Is this what I teased at earlier?
Yes, this is our best Instagram/YouTube comment of the week, and this was a good one. This is from Jason Karnowski on YouTube. This was on our last episode of the Massenomics podcast. He said, Massenomics is the LaCroix of lifting podcasts, mostly watered down nothing with a touch of useful information / discussion. However, still somewhat delicious and very refreshing.
That is a good description.
Yeah, yeah.
Mostly watered down nothing.
Yeah. With a touch of useful information.
Just enough to keep you interested.
Yeah.
Maybe
just
coming
enough
back
to-
for more, wondering what's there.
Just to be like, is this bad or do I like it?
Is there something there, actually? I better go back again to take another look. God, he really nailed that one.
He did nail it. That's good.
Almost have to get a shirt with that made on it.
That was excellent. We did have a podcast review too.
Oh, man.
I don't think I've read this one before anyways. This is from Tuffy226. 5 out of 5 stars. The title is Inspired or Perspired. From the latest tech talk, latest iPhone 6, to all the nutrition info you could ever need. Hardee's. And the world's greatest stats and Larry fan club. This is the best multifaceted podcast. Great job. Hope to make it to the gym next time I visit South Dakota when there's no snow on the ground. Excellent.
Very good. Thank you for that.
We'll welcome you with open arms to the gym next time you're in South Dakota, snow or no snow.
Yes, we will.
Good review, though. Keep the podcast reviews coming on Apple Podcasts. I promise we will consider reading it on the air. And
That's a good promise.
What more could you ask for than
I don't know.
I promise we will start to think about reading it on the air.
This, let's see. This is going to come out.
This will come out
right
Christmas
before
Eve.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You could say Santa's coming a little early this year.
If you know what I mean. Mrs. Claus is...
So, with that, Tanner, you do anything crazy for Christmas?
Just family stuff or local family stuff. We have a very full itinerary from Monday, or actually from Saturday through Tuesday. We have things every day, but it's all local. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I have 1 or 2 meals planned out for me on each one of those days.
Well, that's really all that matters.
Yeah.
All right.
I got to try and sneak a lift or two in there, though. So.
Yep, you do. You don't want to get out of shape.
No,
Be
get
terrible.
weak over Christmas. How about you? Anything?
I'm headed
Any
out.
Hawaii trips,
headed
or-
out west
Ah,
to the old
Hawaii again.
I didn't say how far.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going farther than that even. Now I'm heading to the Black Hills.
Excellent place.
Yep.
Excellent place.
Always.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening to us here along this journey we called episode 142. I hope that you'll tune in next time for episode 143. Do you know what we're going to talk about yet?
I do, and you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, they don't want to miss
It's
this
gonna be
one.
really good.
Yeah, if you like the first 142,
The first 142 was just warm up for 143.
143 is where we're actually going to start.
That's where this thing's gonna come alive.
Yeah, it's time to get serious.
So you got that to look forward to.
You do have that to look forward to in 143. You need to check us out on all the places you can check us out. Facebook, like us on there. YouTube, subscribe there. Check out all the podcasts on YouTube and maybe some other random videos in there here or there. There was a tour that Tyler gave of Greg's gym. Is that right? Or
No.
Das Gym.
Yeah, Das Gym.
Back when he was still stateside, but he's just there visiting. Check that out sometime. Our Instagram. Well, wait a second. Our store.
Yes.
I don't want to forget to tell you to go to the store. That's where actually the one thing I really care about you doing is going to the store and buying some stuff. So get yourself some apparel, bench shirt, lift shorts, flex flasks, stickers, koozies, Massenomics shirts. We've got new shirts coming out really soon. Hopefully by the next time we're
like if you
broadcasting.
don't see them by the time you hear this, it's probably because it's the holidays and we're busy, but
it'll be really
you'll see them.
Hopefully the week that this comes out we'll have some fresh new hotness to drop all over you. Mm-hmm. We're going to release it, drop it.
So just be ready for that.
So that's it. Instagram handles. You didn't lose yours in Hawaii, did you?
I didn't lose it in Hawaii. Tried to take it from me, but I said no. At Tomahawk_D.
The official Massenomics Instagram account at Massenomics. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.